I'm really excited today. I've been wanting to do this for a little while. I'm actually getting ready to upgrade the seats that are in the F250. I've been with those leather, well, I don't know if it's leather or vinyl or what I'm supposed to technically call it, but it's a lariat trim package, and it has that really, like, I don't know, like leather couch, like leather interior, and it's really rotten and old. There's a lot of really rough spots on the seats where it's starting to wear down. There's a few little holes that are starting to show, so it's nearing the end of its life, and I could get it reupholstered, no problem, and it wouldn't be terribly expensive, but I don't really like that kind of interior. I really like cloth, and I know that sounds kind of like a downgrade. Why would you want a cloth interior over a leather interior? Leather is luxury, but in my experience, it's extremely uncomfortable to sit in those seats, especially on a hot summer day when that seat has been in the sun, or in the wintertime when that seat is really cold. It takes quite a while for it to match your body temperature. Cloth is a lot easier because you can actually sleep on it. So we're planning on taking long cross-country trips where we'll probably have our daughter sleeping in the back seat at times, and I want her to have a nice surface to lay on without having to throw down towels or blankets or something for her to lay her head on. I found a really awesome guy in Stephenville, Texas. He has a company called OEM Seats. He's got all kind of variety of, looks like a lot of them are Ford seats, but they are in excellent quality. He also reupholsters seats that have been, that are really rotten. He'll reupholster them and sell them. But he sold me a really nice package out of a newer model F250, F350, where it has the split bench seat in the back. So it's like a 70-30 split where two of the seats can operate independently of one of the other seats. Whereas my old 2003, it's a solid bench, so it will only lay forward, and it doesn't even go all the way flat. So you can't put packages or parcels on top of the back seat when it's folded down. It only folds to about a 45-degree angle. This dual fold-down seat, it allows the back part will go completely flat down, and also the seating part, the part where you sit on, can also go up and latch upward and stay upright. So that gives you a lot more storage space that you can use without damaging the seats. The bonus is, because those two seats have a middle mounting point that my truck doesn't have bolt holes for, the gentleman that sold me these seats was nice enough to also include a bracket that goes across the entire width that is also a fold-out tray. So this tray is also 70-30 split and can be folded out. And what it does is when it folds out, it covers the footwell, so that if you have really muddy feet, or if you have parcels or packages that might damage the carpet, you flip that out and you can rest it on that, and it's going to be perfect. So today I'm going to run you through the process of how to remove the old seats and the installation of that modified back seat. So if you have a F250, F350 from that model year, I think it's 99 to 2004, had that weird interior with that single solid seat, I don't know for sure if it was that entire range, but I'm pretty confident from 99 to 2003, 2004 have that same setup as mine. So if you're looking to upgrade your interior or add some more functionality to the rear seats or even the front seats and convert from a console to a jump seat, I'm gonna walk you through and talk you through that process. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so first things first, this seat, I'm starting over on this side because it's closest to the curb. It just seems like a logical place to start. I'm gonna start with this seat. The first thing I'm gonna do is take it all the way up so I can have easy access to the bolts on the rear of the seat. Once I get those out, then I'm gonna take the seat to the back again and get the bolts out of the front. I'm gonna remove this little cap right here. This reveals an 18mm socket, or 18mm bolt, sorry. I don't have deep sockets, so I'm forced to use an 18mm wrench. Comes loose pretty easily. And since it's not very rusty, it comes off nice and easy by hand. Over on this side is gonna be a T55 Torx bolt. Didn't need that breaker bar after all. Now this one has a bit more resistance, and since the seat belts are not attached to the seat itself, like I don't have to remove this at all. There's no mounting points on the seat. Now the seat belt that's on the side does move with the seat. So I have to check the other seats and see if it comes with the seat belts or if I need to swap that seat belt over. If I need to swap it, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And that's done. So now I'm going to scoot the seat back, and I'm going to leave this hardware here so I can get to it easily in a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and move the seat back, and I'm going to do the two in the front. Now, so I can have access to these front bolts, it's going to be two T55s again up front. Now, I'm going to end up reselling these seats. I'm not sure how much I'll get for them, but this Lariat interior with this Lariat branding on the seats is one of the more sought after interiors. I don't know why any of you would buy it after I've talked so badly about it, but it doesn't hurt to try to get a few dollars back after what I spent on the new interior. And hopefully I can try to recoup most of my costs. At least half of it would be nice. I'm pretty sure I'll get more than half of my costs back from selling this interior. Now, once this seat is free, I'm going to lean it back and disconnect the electronics so that I can go ahead and slide it on out. So that's done. Lean back, lean back. All right, this requires a little bit of lifting to get this bolt through that hole. But next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press in this little tab here, and I really should set this seat down, but I want you all to see what I'm doing here. There we go. And that's it. It's disconnected and ready to come out. So that's the passenger seat. Boy, now we got some space. Next step is going to be the console. All right, so to remove the center console, there's 4 bolts inside of here. I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys this first one here, which is already kind of loose. And now I'm going to keep these bolts with the console because whoever purchases this is going to need these bolts. They may not have these unless they already have a console that they're trying to replace. All right, that's the final bolt out. I'm going to toss this little change tray in here, close it up, out she goes. All right, we got the passenger seat out, console out, driver's seat is the next to go. I find it a little bit easier if we raise the steering wheel all the way up to give us a little bit more room. Same thing, I'm gonna take it to the front, recline it forward. Well, actually that would be decline, recline? I don't know, anyway. And now I'm gonna go ahead and hop in the back and remove the back 2 bolts. Same thing, front 2 bolts, disconnect the electrics, and it'll be out. Give you guys some time. We skipped the removal of all the bolts and the disconnection of the electrical connector. So the driver's seat is getting ready to come out. Okay, that's the front removed. Now onto the rear. There's 2 more T55 bolts up here in the front, and then way up underneath there's 2 more 18s in the rear of this, which are really incredibly difficult to get to. I don't know if we'll be able to get film of that, but I'm going to go ahead and start here on the front brackets. So it's just 2, 1 on either side. So when you fold this, it won't go any more than 45 degrees. It won't decline any more than that. So there's no way to store packages on top of this. It doesn't lock, it doesn't flip down and latch. But now that we got this in this position, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little lift, get it off of that bolt, and give it a little lift off that bolt. I'm going to come to the front with it. Oh my lord. Maybe it's better to move it locked. Okay. And this would definitely be better if I had an assistant helper. Fold her like a taco, an upside down taco. Gotta get this out here without destroying my car or the seat. Woo-wee. And done. Now's a great time to go ahead and detail the carpet or clean the carpets, clean out the interior. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with a blower. Another handy tool, you could go ahead and sweep it out while you got a chance. Or you could go ahead and use a vacuum. As I showed you with the other seat, it only reclines to a 45-degree angle. This clearly goes all the way down and locks. So locks in the up position, locks in the down position, that's locked. And then it also comes up like this. So you have more storage area here. And then this tray comes out, and this is like a little foot here. That goes down in the floor. So you have a nice area to store stuff, and it's not gonna wreck your carpets. There is obviously the bolts for this side and this side. So this kind of ties it all in together without me having to actually bolt it down to the ground. I'm going to bolt the two sides in first with the seat flipped up like this, and then I'm going to come back with the pan and go ahead and tie everything in together. All right, so what you didn't see off camera, I went ahead and I moved this seat in here. This little bolt that pokes up in the rear is a little bit tricky to get lined up with, but once you get lined up with it, you just drop the seat down on there. I'm going to speed things up a little bit. I'm going to use my impact driver to run this front bolt in. So I'm going to line this up and get it started. I need this to come forward just a little bit. There we go. Boom. And the 18 in the back. As you can see, this is a lot easier to get to with this seat flipped up. Before I had to get way down deep underneath of it, reach my arm back there on it. All right, we'll go ahead and drop this down. And what I'm noticing is that there's no latches on the back of here, and these brackets are pressing into this. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those as well. So I'm going to use the 1/4 inch and this T20 bit, and I'm going to go ahead and dismount those brackets from the rear with my impact driver. This impact driver is like cheating. It's just too easy. And that's that. So that's this side done. Now, as you can see, this is not attached to anything on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the other seat, attach that, and then tie this tray into everything. And it should be safe enough to protect someone in the case of an accident or something of that nature. All right, with the little baby seat coming in. The trick with this is it has these little plugs on this side. So there's a socket on this seat, on the little seat, on both sides. On the top portion and the bottom portion, there's a socket that lines up with the pins on the larger portion. So now I'm going to try to position this seat and line it up with those pins. And if I'm lucky, this will just go in nice and easy. Oh, I forgot about the bolt down here. Now, go ahead and set this up, flip up my seat, and go ahead and do my bottom bolts. Unfortunately, I can only get about a 1/4 turn on this each time, so it takes a minute. One more, just for good measure. Yeah. Okay. And then make sure I got this front end nice and tight. Yeah, baby. Okay. Now that that's snugged up, there's very little play. There's very little play on the center section, but there is still a little bit of movement. You can see down here at the bottom, there is still some movement. So once we put that tray in here at the bottom, that should more or less eliminate all of that. So it's tied in the back down low. So the two seats are tied in, and this is going to tie in the bottom, and this should be nice and solid. No more worries. All right, the last part is going to be to tie in the metal tray here. So I'm going to start these bolts, and I'm going to finish them off with the gun and impact driver. I'm just starting these by hand to get them aligned, because this centerpiece, being that it's flexible, still moving around, is going to be a little tricky to get lined up just right once I align that that far side over there. Ooh, not good. Now there's no movement on this centerpiece. There's nothing, like I can't get any sort of flex or movement on that at all. With this down, now you have a place to put your muddy boots, or you have a place to put cargo without wrecking the floor. And these things fold up individually, tuck away under the seat like it never even happened. How clever is that? It's pretty dope, right? So with that tied in, like this doesn't move, it's super safe and secure. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the seat belts through, and the back is done. This is so much nicer than before. Oh my goodness. I am so excited right now. And there we go. This truck originally did not have a jump seat. It had the console. So now that we've taken the console out, we need to find the bolt holes for the jump seat. So what I've done is I've put 2 bolts, not all the way down, but I've put 2 bolts in the front brackets to try to align this and figure out where I need to cut away some of the carpet. And what I've done is I've taken like a Sharpie, magic marker, whatever, and I've gone through the bolt hole and made a little mark so I can see where I need to start cutting the carpet. So I'm going to go ahead and take these front 2 bolts out, and I just hand tightened them a few little turns here, just enough to make sure that this is aligned properly in the front. And then I'm just going to move this to the front, and now I've exposed my holes where I need to cut. So I'm going to take my razor blade and kind of use this as a guide of how wide to cut the circle. So it looks like right about here should do. We're going to pop this up, and if I've done this right, underneath of all of this is going to be our bolt hole. And sure enough, here's a little gummy tape, and as you can see, with this removed, there's our magical bolt hole for the bracket for the seat. So I'm going to leave this gummy stuff in place so none of the outsides come inside, and trim this away a little bit so to keep a nice weather seal here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to cut away the carpet. Car pet? It's the pet that I keep in the car? Yeah. It's my car pet? Ha 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 ha. Dad jokes for the win. Alright, and with this out of the way, it's revealed another little sticky spot, and I'm going to cut that out of the way to reveal the other bolt hole. Ta-da! Now we can go ahead and scoot this back into place. And now, if I understand correctly, I can go ahead and bolt this down, but the problem is I don't have the seat belt for this side. So I'm going to steal the one from the rear, because in most states, I think in some states it's okay to have passengers unbuckled in the back, but I think in all states you have to have all front occupants buckled. So I'm going to rob the buckle from the belt from the rear, because there's a buckle on this side, but there's no belt. So I'm going to rob that. I'm going to use this bolt hole to attach the bracket for the rear seat belt. And so we're going to do that hack. Then the front seat can go in. The front seat and the passenger seat actually bolt in over top of, like the front brackets are shared by the passenger and driver's seat. So the bolt actually goes through the front bracket for the driver's seat and passenger seat, but the rear brackets are not shared. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt down the rear, including that seat belt. And I'm just going to bolt in the rear, and then I'm going to bring the seats in and bolt the seats in just the way I took them out. I'm actually ready to go ahead and start bringing in the passenger seat and the driver's seat. So to wrap up what I was talking about, the the front jump seat had no side seat belt, so I pulled the seat belt from the rear, but it did not work with the buckle from the newer seat. It did not work with this buckle. So I went ahead and went behind that seat and pulled out the receiver, the buckle from the back. That works perfectly fine, and it bolted in right here. It's a little bit shorter in length than the one that came with it, but I don't think there's going to be that big of a clearance issue. Once I get the passenger seat in here, we'll see. But this is all in. The back bolts I've left loose, so I can go ahead and adjust everything to make sure I get the seats in alignment. And I'm ready to bring in the passenger seat. I'm going to do the reverse of how. Well, before I do this, let me check and see. Yes, oh, thank goodness. I was really worried I was going to have to switch the seat belt buckles on the front seats as well. Turns out they work perfectly. So I'm going to move this a little bit to the rear. I'm going to incline it. I'm going to get under here and I'm going to reconnect the electrics. Perfect plug and play. You can't see this, but I just snapped that electrical connection back in. This has been reconnected, good to go. I'm going to go ahead and align this rear seat bracket with this bolt, and that goes on there perfectly. So I've removed the rubbery top on this bolt just so I can try to get a little bit of extra clearance for that bracket when I put the passenger seat down on it. And I'm going to go ahead and run this on in now. Nice. There we go. And I can undo this one here in the front. Like that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and run these in and then move the seat forward and move to the back. So as you can see, this ties in to the bracket for the jump seat. So the passenger seat goes in over top of that jump seat bracket and ties down using the same bolt. Now we can do the back. Wow, there we go. Now I've got some clearance for the rear. Yeah. Send it. So this is my concern right here. This bolt head is not allowing this to set fully flush down against the carpet. I'm worried it might throw off the angle of the passenger seat a little bit. I'm going to crank this thing down as far as I can go, but I hope it doesn't mess up the track and the motorization of the seat. So fingers crossed. Okay, that's about as tight as it's going to go. I wish I had a more flush bolt head, but that's why I cleaned all the rubbery stuff off of that. And I'm going to take that seat back. I'm going to sit in it, test it out for a second, and see how it feels. All right. Now, I'm already kind of on an incline here, but it feels to me to be normal. I'm not noticing anything odd about it. This is so cool having this thing here. I am in love with this jump seat. Oh yeah. Oh, I love cloth seats. All right, passenger seat's done. I'm gonna move over and go ahead and bring the driver's seat in, and it looks like we're almost done here, guys. All right, lining everything up here in the front. And send it. Moving on to the rear. All right, y'all. That's it. I'm gonna put that floor mat in and we're done. That's a wrap. I am so excited, y'all. It's done. The only thing I just noticed is I don't have seat pockets anymore. There's no seat pockets. That's it. I'm gonna have to take it all out and put the old ones back. Not. Oh my God, I am so happy with this right now. These seats are amazing. I sat in them, they feel great. It really looks like this interior was almost never used before. I'm really blown away and impressed by all of this. Look at me, I'm fancy, I got a little strap. I really love this because this is gonna give me a nice level load floor. I can put all kind of objects in here without damaging the carpet. It'll be nice and level. I have more storage space with these up, and I'm not gonna damage the seating portion or the back side of these seats. If there's anything that happens to it, it'll be making contact with the back of the seat right here, the underside, which is not that important. The only downside I see is that I lost the seat pockets on the back of these seats, but I've gained a lot more functionality with the jump seat. I now have a nice console that I can rest my arm on. It's not going to tear up my elbow like that destroyed seat arm. So I'm really excited about that. If any of you all know what this little bracket right here is for with these two little clips, please let me know in the comments below. Okay guys, let me know what you think about the video. Let me know what you think about the interior. Let me know if you like it, if you dislike it. Subscribe, ding the bell, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.